Once upon a time, in a city named Uli, there lived a man named Enyina who was a trader in a very big market where he sells clothes. He was well-to-do and had a lot of properties. He was married to a beautiful lady named Adora who was very kind. They shared many beautiful moments together. Enyina and Adora were lovers before they got married. He met Adora in his shop line when she came to see her uncle in his shop and fell in love with her. Enyina cherished his wife Adora so much and gave her everything she wanted. However, despite their years of being married, they remained childless, which became a source of pain and tension to Enyina. He so much wanted a child. They have visited so many doctors who told them Adora was perfectly okay and could conceive. Adora had a best friend named Ifunanya, who was a frequent visitor, always offering comfort and companion to Adora. They have been best friends since high school. They went to the same university and graduated together. Adora took Ifunanya as her blood sister, as she was the only child of her parents. During their days in the university, people would think Ifunanya was Adora's sister, without knowing they were friends and not sisters. Adora would always give Ifunanya her pocket money whenever she cries of being broke. That was how strong their friendship was. One day, Ifunanya visited Adora and met her in a bad mood. Without asking any question, she already knew what the problem was. She went straight to where Adora, her friend, was sitting and sat close to her. Adora, she called out her name as she held her shoulders. Please cheer up. Worrying won't solve the problem. I believe God will remember you one day. He will just give you triplets and you better dash me one of those babies so. They both laughed as they looked at each other. Hey, Adora, do you have any food in your kitchen? I am very hungry. Ifunanya asked Adora, who looked at her and replied, You this girl, you like food. I thought you came here to console me. Yes, I came to console you and to eat your food too. On the other hand, Enyina's desperation grew. He really needed a child as he was no longer getting any younger. He was almost clocking 45 years. Enyina began to see Ifunanya, his wife's best friend, in a new light. He thought to himself, what if I marry Ifunanya as my second wife? She's a very close family friend. My wife will understand. I believe she will accept and welcome her in. Perhaps she could give me the child Adora cannot. Enyina made the bold decision to tell Adora about his plans of getting a second wife. One day, Enyina called his wife into the sitting room and said to her, Adora, I have decided to take a second wife. His words sounded like heavy metal sounds in Adora's ears. You've decided to what? Enyina, what has come over you? Is it my fault that we are childless? We've been to the hospital several times and the doctor said we are okay and could have a child. He even suggested adoption to us, which we refused to accept. I am totally not in support of you getting married to a second wife. At a second thought, Adora decided to ask her husband who the girl he wanted to marry was. And by the way, Enyina, who is this fruitful woman you want to marry? Answer me. Enyina remained silent for some moments before he replied her. It's Ifunanya, your best friend. I want to marry her. Come to think of it, you both are very close and we live peacefully together. Tufia kwa, Adora shouted. So of all the people, it's my best friend you choose. I don't think your brain is functioning well. If you marry a second wife, I am leaving this marriage. And besides, I trust Ifunanya now. She won't even accept you. Talk more of marrying you. I already told her and she accepted, Enyina said. I refuse to believe what you are saying. I need to call and confirm by myself. Adora picked up her phone and dialed Ifunanya's number. Hello, Ifunanya. My husband just told me something that I have refused to believe. He told me you have accepted to be his second wife. Please tell me he's lying. Ifunanya kept quiet on the phone and refused to speak. Hello? Ifunanya? Hello? Please say something. Adora, please calm down, Ifunanya said. I am doing this because of you. I want to help your marriage since you can't conceive after all these years of being married. Let me come in and try. I believe I'll give birth to a child. And moreover, we are best friends. We can live peacefully together. Adora stood frozen with her phone on her ear as she replied her friend with a low tone. Ifunanya, did I tell you that I need you to restore my marriage? Tears began to flow down her eyes. Just listen to yourself. Just put yourself in my shoes. If I do this to you, will you be happy? How can you agree to marry my husband? Ifunanya, if you do this, I will never ever forgive you. Adora dropped the call as she looked at Enyinna, heartbroken and betrayed. She could not stand the idea of her husband marrying her own best friend. The pain was too much for her to bear. And with a heavy heart, she packed her things, and as she was about leaving, Enyinna held her bag and knelt down to plead with her not to leave.
Adora, please don't go now. You know I love you very much and I want the best for you.
I believe you and Ifunanya will live peacefully. Hey God, Enyinna, just hear yourself out. You just sounded like a lunatic. There can't be two captains in a ship. No matter how much I and Ifunanya behave like sisters, we can never live peacefully. Please leave me alone, Biko. I even thought you had sense, whereas it's just water that is filled up in your brain. Adora pushed her husband as she carried her bags and stormed out. In the following week, Enyinna then married Ifunanya, and in a matter of months, she got pregnant and gave birth to a baby girl. While still at the hospital, she picked up her phone and called Adora. Hello, Adora. I just gave birth to a baby girl. You are the first person I am calling to inform. Please, can you come to the hospital and see me? Why are you calling me? Ifunanya, Adora replied. Oh, so you are calling me to mock me? Well, I can't come. Adora then hung up the phone on her and sighed. Ifunanya felt really bad the way Adora hung up the phone on her. She really wished Adora, her best friend, could come and visit her at the hospital. Enyinna was so overjoyed that Ifunanya gave him a child after so many years of waiting. This one looks exactly like me, as he held the baby in his arms smiling. My lovely wife, thank you so much. After 1 year, Ifunanya gave birth to another baby girl, and soon 2 more daughters followed, making her children 4 girls. However, despite the blessings of 4 lovely girls, Ifunanya was desperate for a son. She longed to give Enyinna the male child that would carry on his legacy. Her prayers were finally answered when she gave birth to a son whom they named Akachi. Ifunanya was over the moon with joy. She stared at her bundle of joy as she said to herself, Now my 2 foot are down in my husband's house. And from the moment Akachi was born, Ifunanya showered him with endless love and attention. He was her pride and joy, the center of her world. She pampered him and gave him everything he ever asked for. Akachi grew and became a spoilt and arrogant boy. He never did any house chores at home. His sisters were the ones doing everything. And when they complained, their mother would give excuses, saying Akachi was the last born. Ifunanya's constant indulgence turned him into a spoilt and arrogant boy. Enyinna would always complain about Akachi's stubbornness, but Ifunanya would wave it off, saying when he grows up he will change. One day, a big tragedy struck as Eina died in his sleep unexpectedly, leaving all his wealth and property in the hands of Akachi. Akachi, who was now a grown man, instead of taking responsibilities, became a tyrant. He seized control of all his father's assets, leaving nothing for his mother or sisters. Akachi began to squander his father's money. He even sold his father's shop. He went to his father's house, the 4-story building he built before dying, and told all the tenants there to be paying the house rent into his account and not that of his mother. One day, Ifunanya called her son as she began to ask him why he has decided to squander his father's properties. Akachi, ever since your father died, you've taken everything that belongs to him, not minding that I, your mother, is still alive, and I need those money to feed. I am no longer young and can't walk. Before Ifunanya could finish talking, Akachi interrupted her. Mama, please stop all this sermon. Who told you I am squandering Papa's property? Am I not the only son? By rights, I own all these properties. But Akachi, before Ifunanya could complete her sentence, her son pounced on her and beat her up mercilessly. Ifunanya's daughters dared not to interfere because they know Akachi would beat them up too if they dare come close to him. Ifunanya was so surprised and cried out her eyes that day. She began to lament. Oh my God, what have I done? I gave birth to a beast as a son. Just look at this person that I carried for 9 months in my womb. He's raising his hands on me. Ifunanya was filled with so much pain and regrets. She sat on the floor and wept bitterly as she said to herself, "This is karma," she whispered to herself, tears streaming down her face. "This is my punishment for betraying Adora, my best friend. I thought life was going smoothly for me, but karma decided to deal with me at old age with my son. Oh, Adora, I wish you can forgive me." Guilt consumed her as she realized that her actions had brought her to this point by betraying Adora and marrying Eina. Ifunanya's heart ached with the weight of her regrets. Should I visit Adora and beg her to forgive me? At least to clear my conscience and feel at ease, Ifunanya said to herself. The following day, Ifunanya visited Adora in her father's house. Adora returned back to her family's house after she had left her marriage. "What are you doing here, you betrayer?" Adora asked. Immediately she sighted Ifunanya. "Adora, please forgive me. I am so sorry for what I did to you. So after 28 years, you come to my house with your dirty legs to ask for my forgiveness?" Adora thundered. "Are you here to know if I am dead?" "God forbid, Adora. Please don't say that. I am here because I feel so ashamed of myself. I thought I was doing the right thing by marrying Eina, but I was wrong. Now I realize my mistake. Please forgive me." Adora looked at Ifunanya with so much anger and hatred as she said to her, "You better leave this place this minute before I use a machete on you. Leave now." As Ifunanya was still pleading, Adora dashed into the house and returned with a machete. Ifunanya stood up and ran for her life. Adora stood outside her house ranting. "No, you should have waited. Let me cut you into pieces like a cow's meat. This woman is just shameless. After 28 years, she had the guts to face me." On the other hand, Ifunanya returned back to her house panting as she cried, "I can't live like this anymore. Nothing is giving me joy. Not even my children are giving me joy. What's the essence of living a life I no longer enjoy?" Ifunanya went into the house. As she carried a rope and a chair, went straight into the bush and committed suicide. We've come to the end of this amazing story. Thank you so much for watching to the end. I would like to know your thoughts about this story between Adora and Ifunanya. Do you think Adora did the right thing by refusing to let go of the past and forgive Ifunanya. Before I go, please and please, if you've not subscribed to my channel, please subscribe. It's free. And remember to like our videos too. Thank you so much for stopping by. Bye.